Well, the first thing that happened was that shortly after Freddie's death, they got the cocktail right. So people with HIV were not living under a death sentence anymore, provided they have money. You know, that's the big thing. So if Freddie had begun to suffer about a year later, he probably still would have been with us. That's the most enormous change, I suppose. But of course, it hasn't affected millions of people who were affected by HIV in other countries, like Africa, in the poor countries. In this country, you know, I guess people think that it's all over and it's all sorted, but in fact, you know, there are a lot of people walking around with AIDS, and that unfortunately there's a bit of a drift, because once things quieten down, people think there's no need to worry anymore. So we still work on awareness in this country, but of course it applies more in many other countries around the world. If you're in a rich country, then the prognosis is very good. But it's wiped out a whole generation in Africa, and is still absolutely rife. And one of the things that the MPT, the Mercury Phoenix Trust, works on is awareness still. You know, awareness is still top of our list. Awareness and education of what you can do to minimise the spread of the disease, and it comes down to very simple things like condoms and various, you know, and actually counteracting some of the traditional sexual mores that happen in certain parts of the world. So a lot of the stuff we fund, and I think we're the only people who do it more or less, we fund things like education projects, plays. People put on a play to educate a local, you know, some remote community in Africa or Mozambique or whatever. A little play which will tell people what is actually going on and what they can do to protect themselves, and tell women what they can expect their rights to be and what they don't have to say yes to. So we work in a number of very, very small ways, but they add up to quite a